Hello and welcome back to the Life Writing Podcast. In this episode of Let's Write About Now, Cassandra and Varbah joins me in observance of Women's History Month. How's it going, ladies?
It's
Hi.
great. It's a,
I,
it's a
I,
beautiful little Saturday.
it is. I absolutely could not wait to get you two on here.
Oh boy.
Oh, now, of course, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was hoping this was gonna be a trio, if I can get it out.
Right.
With Miss Key Era joining us, but since she acting all whatever, we're gonna leave that there. But I wanted to call her out publicly anyway, and no, I am not
I love
editing
that.
it out. When I think of Women's History Month, several things come to mind. Kind of the traditional things is like, women who have been trailblazers, women who have set certain standards from obviously from a historical perspective. But that's from my vantage point.
Mhm.
So hearing you guys and however you plan to, tackle the question, if you will. Cassandra, what comes to mind when you hear Women's History Month?
I feel like, did you say the word trailblazers just now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's literally what I think of is like the women that have paved the way. That's when I think of International Women's History Month. I went to an all-girls school. I grew up with sisters. So I come from a matriarchal family. So
Mm.
I just think about strong women who are just kind of setting up for the next, they're the people that are bringing more chairs to the table.
Oh,
I like
now I like that framing.
I like
Women
that.
who are bringing more chairs to the table. Yeah, I- I'm definitely going to use that one too. I like that. So, Ms. Varbah, what
Yes.
what say you? What comes to mind when you hear those words?
Like you all said it. I mean, it's the obvious historical view of trailblazing and important women in our history. And as common as it may seem, I just think about the women personally in my life because
Right.
although I can acknowledge and learn things from trailblazers, they're the women that I interact with on a daily. So whether it be from grandparent on down to same level, same age friend, people that I admire, that I actually know their personal life. So that's what I think of.
Absolutely. The fact that I'm sitting here with you two, I know you're making some kind of history in your own right. And I may throw a question in there towards the end of this exchange. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on the heels of that, so I ask the two of you to think of at least one woman whose shoulders you stand on, a woman, history making woman that comes to mind, and to present her today.
Okay.
So, Baba, I'll start with you. Which history making, groundbreaking, trailblazing woman are you presenting today?
History making ground it sounds so cliche, but it's honest. The first woman that comes to my mind is my mother. She's not the only,
Okay.
but
Yep.
she's definitely the first. um History making, to me, she's just, well, my mother is originally from Liberia. She's passed
Okay.
some
Okay.
years ago,
Hmm.
but she was a part of the history of people moving from Liberia to America. So if
Really?
anything, that's history with little to nothing, like most immigrants. And she was one of the first set of Africans that were coming here in droves. So there's
Wow.
history there, and made like a name for themselves here, moved themselves up, learn the culture here while still raising African American children.
Yeah.
So she's the first person that comes to mind. And do you want me to go on to why else she's
Yeah. Yes.
hmm.
Please.
Any specific questions or just
No. No. Just whatever comes to mind.
okay, so I'll be brief. Coming here with a few children, and she birthed children here. She came here in the 70s, her and my father.
Uh huh.
I would say just learning her way around America in general, like all of our parents, and
Yeah.
learning it well. Although the African or Liberian culture is very strict in some ways, my mother was definitely like one of those when in Rome do what the Romans do. So she wasn't stuck in certain African ways. She was very open-minded with us. And while still keeping her African traditions and how she grew up. So I'll do a small thing. Like, even though we were in America, like I still grew up taking a bucket bath, like with a bucket, even though we had running water.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's things like that that we did, but she was just, I mean, maybe I'll go into detail another time, but she was just an amazing person. Another thing that's different for her from a lot of what I experienced from other African mothers, and Cassandra can agree to this, like our parents, it was just do as I'm told. That's it. I'm not apologizing when I'm wrong. It's also Southern things of that sort. But she was one of the first adults in my life, if not the first, actually, to tell me she was sorry about something. So I learned humility from my mother. So I'll leave it there. I go on and on.
That's powerful. And just as you were conveying that, I'm picturing a lot of that unfold as you're sharing it. And I'll quickly interject this too, from a African American perspective, to an Africa, right, such as yourself. I've always been so curious, little Georgia boy, right? I've always been so curious to hear about the upbringing of those from the continent, from Africa, and not what I read or read in a book or heard someone share with me, but hearing from someone who literally been there, done that. So thanks for laying that out as you did.
Thank you.
So we should move over to Cassandra, huh? So Cassandra, what woman are you presenting today?
I was torn about this question because, like Varbah, it's not my instinct to go to celebrity, famous women. And I think it's because we come from a line, we're blessed to come from strong stock of women.
Right.
So it's very easy. The easy grab for me would be grandma and mom. And it's really a stretch for me to think, because authentically, do we know these women that, like, when I was thinking about presenting on a famous woman, my mind immediately went to somebody like Michelle Obama, who's very much in the public eye, and somebody that I really admire because she is very open about her struggles with marriage, with raising children, with being in the public eye and trying to balance everything. And she's one of those people who, like, not on purpose, but somehow I've seen her speak live 3 times. Just happenstance. I was like, oh, people had tickets. I went to see her. And each time she's just such a visionary and so grounded. She hasn't let anything sway her. In fact, I was having dinner with my mom yesterday and we were talking about Michelle Obama because our favorite story of her is the one where I think she and Barack were on a date at a restaurant. Everybody knows the story. And he's like, oh, I think the chef was flirting with her. And Barack is like, oh, if you had married that guy, you would have been the owner of this restaurant. And she's like, if I married that guy, he would have been the president of the United States. Like, what do you remember
that? Yes.
And I love that confidence. And I love that she's like, check yourself. Like, first of all, I was your boss. Like, let's start with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And she just has that self-knowledge and that, like, nothing unshakable. And as the mom of daughters, I find that to be so inspiring. So as a famous person, like, she would be one of the few that I feel has, like, authentically presented herself. And her biography, she's just so something I really loved about her upbringing that I've tried to instill in my children is that she's like, children know when adults are being authentic. Children know when adults are trying to pull the wool. They're not dumb. And so she was raised with a mom. And to this day, if you see podcasts with her and her brother, her mom is very active. And so she's like, her mom never dumbed it down for her. Her mom was a straight shooter, and she let her kids know, like, yeah, we didn't grow up with a lot, but I want you to understand the reason I'm making these decisions. She felt like she had a voice in her home. And as an immigrant child, like Varbah was talking about, very often children are meant to be like furniture, like seen but not heard, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
And so I loved that she shared that upbringing and how she's instilled that in her children. And now I'm instilling that in my children.
Right.
Like, you have an opinion, you have things to say, you have thoughts of your own. I respect you as a person, even as young as they are. Their input matters. I want them to have a voice.
I like that. I like that. Whew. Boy, you ladies got me over here checking myself. Oh,
you were scared.
Yeah.
We tried to warn you. We don't play.
and in all seriousness, as you share that, both of you, I'm reflecting on, the relationship I had with my mom first and foremost, with my sister, with my daughter, with some other women in my life. I can say, and most would confirm this, I've always had a different appreciation, not to sound corny, just for women in particular.
That's
you
not
guys,
corny.
What's that?
That's not corny at all.
It's
Exactly.
complete transparency amid the guys. When we make statements like that, oh man, come on. But
I can see that.
If and when I'm going to remove the if. When each one of those guys go back to his corner, oh, he feels the same way.
Exactly.
Regarding what you shared about the women you just identified, from a personal legacy perspective, what would you rather prefer, if you will, that look like? And Cassandra, I'll start with you.
I would say legacy is such an interesting thing because our generation right now, I'm very blessed to have 2 generations above me still in my life and actively in my life. I have a grandma and a mom. I have a lot of aunts, and then I have a daughter. So we're the sandwich generation, and I am being it's actively, a legacy is being passed on to me as I'm creating mine, right?
Yes.
So I'm receiving legacy, and I'm like, how do I add my own zhuzh to this and pass it on? And so it's not really my, now I'm about to go off on a tangent, but I want y'all to stay with me, right?
Please. Thank you.
Varbah,
this is what I've been waiting for.
I'm about to nerd out.
Okay.
I recently found out, recent meaning in the last few years, when I was pregnant, I found out that you are carrying your children when you're inside your mother.
Yeah.
And so your mother carried you and her grandchildren.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is huge. Like when you think about that genetically, when you think about what your grandmother went through and the fact that she was carrying you, like legacy is a big word when you think about that. And so when I think about it, it goes both ways. It's a two-sided coin because you can have generational trauma. Right. And you have to make a decision. Are you going to carry that as the legacy? Is the trauma your legacy? Right. Or are you going to pass on the lessons? And that's my goal, is to not pass on because my mom's generation and my grandma's generation, they were so busy in survival mode that they were not thinking about legacy. They were thinking about survival, meals, school, education, immigration, so many like real basic living. The luxury of legacy is something that I really feel. I feel like I have a real luxury to sit here and be able to even have this conversation with you because I'm not in survival mode. I get to think about really consciously making decisions for my children. And it's not just a daughter, having a son, making sure he understands the importance of women in his life. Like you said, I want him to be the guy in the room who's like, I love my mom. I love my sister. I love the women. An uplifting man. I find that to be so wonderful.
An uplifting man in that respect. Yes.
Yep.
That's the legacy for me, is choosing not to pass on the trauma, but choose to pass on the lessons and raise a boy and a girl who are uplifting. They're just, they're the light in the room.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Love that. I've taken several mental notes. Several. Wow. I love that.
I love that.
Ms. Varbah, what say you?
So legacy too, for me, is not a tangible thing. Sometimes I feel like I wish I had something to brag about, or but that stuff will be there. It could be gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
So true.
Yeah, for me, And because I do not have a grandmother or my mother here, and my children, I have 3 daughters, and they have me. You know, I mean, they have a grandmother from their father, but as far as like their closeness, they have me. And it is so important for me to pass down being, as corny as it may sound, like a sincere, good, and giving person. Like just like basic level stuff.
Right.
You know, like like Cassandra, yeah, there's a little bit of survival mode, but we enjoy life.
Right.
We enjoy life.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys do.
We enjoy life, but not at the
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Relax. Relax.
We enjoy, you know, in our age, but not at the expense of others.
Right.
Not at the expense of our kids, not at the expense of other people around us, you know. So that's a legacy my mother passed down to me. Like I will say, because me and Cassandra had this conversation before, like my mother didn't just live in survival mode. Oh, I didn't know it because she enjoyed life. Yeah. When we had little or nothing, and then like 20 people live in our apartment, we still did trips. Trips meaning to Haynes Point, but we still did stuff. I did not know that we were poor. Like I just didn't, you know? And again, she wasn't typical foreigner. Like she did things at her job. She dressed up as Tina Turner. Like she just did certain things that when I look back, I'm like, yo, that short little African woman was different. You know what I mean? But I want to pass down like enjoying life not at the expense of other people. So while as much as you enjoy, you need to give and be sincere, like all of those simple things that a lot of people just do not have.
Ooh, you can say that 10 times again. and the way you framed it a minute or so ago, it's you would, simply put, this is me paraphrasing, you would think a lot of those things are basic, should have kind of naturally happen, if you will, but so many people, and it goes back to kind of what Cassandra touched on, so many people in this day and age, that's not the reflection, you know, or at least that's not what I'm seeing or feeling. I want you to finish a sentence for me. If I could hold one position, it would be, Varbah.
Me first?
Yeah.
I want Cassandra to go. And position.
Are you talking about a job?
Like career?
It's anything that comes to mind.
Position.
A job, career, something family oriented, anything.
If I could hold one position. Okay. Because I'm on the spot, it might not completely answer. And I'm hoping to hold this position.
Okay.
I would love to be the matriarch with several generations below me. Okay. That's a position that I admire when I see people like Cassandra, her grandmother. If people have great grandmother, I want to be that person in a family that the younger people want to be around. That's it.
So beautiful. I love that. I can see that for you.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, when
I'll be a fly one though. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm just
no doubt.
I'll be a fly me mom.
When I pose that question, and thanks for asking the clarifying part of it, it's typically it's like the very first thing that comes to mind. I mean, as natural as possible, because that's whatever it is. It's tied mostly to what you're most passionate about, what you've thought about before. In some respect, even if you didn't, do it intentionally, kind of thing. If that makes sense. So, Cassandra, what comes to mind? What position?
When you asked that question, and I think did you send us that question in advance to think about? Because I feel like when I was thinking about that, the first thing I thought of, and I kind of want to ask Varbah this question too, because I'm so curious. But the first thing I thought of is like, what did I want to be when I was a kid? What position did I want to be? At my youngest, what was my dream job? And my dream position, the first head of the UN when I was a kid. And it's so interesting because from a very young age, I was always like, but men mess up everything. Why are they in charge? Like, I could never understand.
Not everything.
There's just been too many men in the room, in the leadership. Like,
Yep.
I've always been curious about, like, you know, like India and these countries that people consider to be backwards have had women leaders for
Mine too.
decades.
My country.
I
Decades
know,
ago.
literally.
Decades ago, yes.
And the US has never been able to quite get there. And I always wanted to be the leader of the UN because I always like a cause that was very close to my heart was the refugee work that the UN does, especially in Palestine. That was like my major and my minor in college because I was just so like curious about why there always seems to be enough. And I think this is a Tupac lyric I'm stealing, but like there's always money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. Like,
Yes.
Like,
it
how
never made sense to me. And I don't think
Right.
women would have it that way. I think like women, because of being nurturers, I feel like had there been more women leaders in the world, we wouldn't be in a lot of the predicaments that we're in. So that position was always something that I wanted for myself. And then I grew up and I was like, oh, this is a very corrupt organization.
Well, you can help clean that side of it up too.
Well, you know.
I mean, you need some more foot soldiers, but you know.
Right.
I'm busy cleaning up Legos now, so.
Right.
No, that's awesome. UN, okay, and the matriarch.
I can see that.
Can I ask Varbah, what was your, like when you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I was never that child or person. Like I didn't have something that I wanted to do, but it was at anything I was ever interested in or what I did outside of my work or even what I did in college, it always leaned towards service, mentoring. Like it was always that thing. I felt like I enjoy understanding people and helping, like relationship wise. I have a lot of brothers, so I always felt like I was one of the few that understood them, and then also one of the few that understood young women. That's basically it. Yeah. So I didn't know what I wanted to do with that. Here I am working for lobbyists. So there's that.
No,
that life coach, I'm telling you, you could be a phenomenal life coach.
You know, we try, but keep moving.
Any ad libs, you guys?
I mean, I did want to be a pianist. I want to play the piano for, you know what I mean? I am one, but I actually wanted to do it not 100% professionally, but I wanted to play for events, and I kind of still do. So
that's so cool.
I've had you guys on here long enough, and this has been a really cool exchange. Learned a lot. So I want to close it out this way, and I typically do a session like this, especially from some wise heads and future matriarch and future head of the UN.
Right.
Words of wisdom come to mind. So, with respect to that, say, you know, a young lady, little girls, other women in general, what words of wisdom do you have for those ladies? And Cassandra, I'll start with you.
I would say the importance of being a girl's girl. I don't think that can be undervalued for women to not seek validation so much. In this day and age, raising a daughter, social media has just done something to the young female mind. Our concept of beauty, our concept of confidence, our source of confidence is being diluted in a really disturbing way. And then you throw in AI, people are losing the ability to think for themselves, you know, like creativity, uniqueness, like everything is starting to become kind of melded into one. I took a break from social media, me and Varbah did for Ramadan, and coming back onto it yesterday, I'm like, everybody sounds the same, everybody looks the same. It's just very giving me the ick. And so I'm like, maybe I should just get back off because it's disturbing. And so back to, you know, not to drag it on, but my words of wisdom would be like, seek out authenticity and seek out women who are authentically, and this goes back to Michelle Obama. It goes back to this thread in my life of like, I'm really me and Varbah became friends because she is a shining light of authenticity. She's just who she is like how you present. She's never going to be like, oh, is that Varbah? Like, I've never seen Varbah act like that. Like, no, who she is what you see, what you get type of person.
That's right. That's right.
And I encourage women to find your people and let them be a split of 90-10, female to male. Like, surround yourself with
I get it.
Women that you admire and watch your life just soar from that.
And I like that phrase, find your people. Yeah, and the authenticity. I mean, it almost it should be so self-evident that it should go without saying.
Yeah,
but you have to say it. Yeah, right. Wow, Varbah, what? Where's the wisdom? However you want to.
Wisdom. Cassandra definitely took a lot of words of wisdom from my mouth. That is, I really, because I literally just told my middle child, like, you'll find your people. Like, don't feel like you have to do these other things in college. Like, you'll find your people. Literally, before I rushed her off the phone and got on air. A big thing that me and my children talk about is never stop growing. That's it. When you stop growing, you die, even if you are alive, you know? And in reference to other women, find people that want to grow. That's it. And that are also better than you at something so you can grow. And not to put Cassandra on the spot, but meeting her, like she's one of the smartest people that I've come across. You know what I mean? I know now. I know. Yes. Yeah.
I fooled her.
And Kiara as well. And I want to be around women that are better than me at something, that think past certain things that I think of, that open my mind. I never want, and going back to my mother, she was always great. No matter the pace, continue to grow, because if you don't, you die.
Yeah. Now that's it. I'll do the snaps for you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I knew too. Well, got complete transparency. Bringing you two on, and again, I harken back to Kiara. I got to keep calling her name. I'm like, hold up.
I mean, she brought us together.
A woman from the continent. A woman from India. I'm right. I had to check my head. Whoa, hold up. and a Canadian by way. Well, I could say Eritrean by way of Canada. Right. I was like, oh, now that's a trifecta. Yeah, this has been great too, because it's a lot of teachable moments happen amid you guys sharing your information. That's what you do. That's who you guys are. So it naturally comes out for you, but the way someone totally on the outside is receiving it as we listen to you guys, I learned a lot. And when I mentioned early on about the things that I was envisioning as you guys were sharing it, is very informative, and I would stretch to even say educational at the same time, because those of us who have, born and raised in the United States, we take a lot of things for granted. We don't have those shared experiences that you guys have, and it doesn't give us a certain perspective because we are so accustomed to certain things. So to hear from people who are totally from afar, as I like to say, it's very inviting and reassuring that at some point we're going to all get our acts together, especially us men. And I'm gonna leave that there too and quickly get off of that. I'm quickly going to get away from that one. But no, thank you, ladies, for coming on and sharing this information. I was so looking forward to it. Ecstatic that you guys even were like, yeah.
No, we were scared. We were scared. We were not like, yeah, we were scared.
I literally saw Varbah like an hour ago, and I was so scared. I was like, I gotta get out of here so I can go get my thoughts together.
Look, I haven't been around you guys a lot, but the times I have been, I was like, they're gonna be fine.
Right, exactly.
Get out of here. Right. but I get it though. Just doing this in and of itself, no matter the topic or subject matter, it can be a little, like, it's just different. But when you get on and come with your authentic selves, it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's true.
So, Cassandra, thank you. Varbah, thank you as well.
Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Mr. Life Writing. We really appreciate you thinking about us, and especially during this month, having us and acknowledging us. I enjoyed it. As short as it was, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And so that's a setup for you guys to come around.
I'm open. Cassandra, are you open?
Totally different topic,
right.
Down the road talking about whatever. But no, thank you, ladies. As I'm planning to span this platform. People have been knocking my door down for months, if not years. But I'm like, guys, I just don't have the time. This takes a lot of coordination. If you're gonna do it right. And I'm not going to do anything haphazardly, especially talking about sensitive subjects and topics, right? Not to say this is sensitive, but you know what I mean. Podcasts talk about virtually anything, but thank you, ladies, again.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And to the audience, thank you for tuning in and your continued support. Like this video and leave a comment. And leave a comment regarding a woman whose shoulders you think or feel you stand on, right? And we can kind of, create a little crosstalk there and share as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Life Writing Podcast is another way we creatively inform and inspire, helping people write the lives they desire. Until the next time, you ladies continue to make your own history and take care.